It's Tyler Boyer. Did I say your name right this time?
Yes, I try not. I'm not famous at all. So
Woo!
let's try to avoid fame. We're trying to avoid fame.
Tyler is our Arizona National Committee man. And we're so excited to have him here. It's a 4-year term. Woo! 4 more years. 4 more years.
That's right.
And he is also the COO of Turning Point USA, another
That's
one
right.
of our favorite
That's
wonderful
right.
organizations.
Let's run the day-to-day for Turning Point, which is a lot of fun.
Based right
Very
here in
blessed.
Phoenix. Oh, we're so happy to have you. So as you can guess, on this last show of the year, our New Year's show, Happy New Year's. Thank you to George for this marquee. We're going to talk politics. We're going to talk about Hilaria is hilarious. It's good. And the latest on the presidential election, because as you know, Arizona is always national. And there's something about a lawsuit and Vice President Pence. We're going to clarify all that for you. We're going to let him take care of that. And lots of other stuff. But first, we're going to get our little announcements out of the way. And one of them is, don't forget, download the free app for Central City Radio. Do that because, you know, Facebook, man, we used to get like 1,000 views was our average. Now it's really pitiful. They're always dinging us.
Facebook is the worst.
It's always dinging us. So please download the free app, Central City Radio. And you can listen to us live. Like right now, if you had to go somewhere and you couldn't be on Facebook, that's okay. You just go to the app and you can listen to us. Not a problem at all. And also kudos to the man behind the glass, founder, creator of Central City Radio, Talk Central Phoenix, Julian Allison. Yay! Yippity-doo-dah. Juliano, we like to call him. And, you know, I want to steal a term from, do you watch Chris Salcedo on Newsmax? You ever watch his show, Tyler?
Yeah.
He's really good.
Of course.
And what I like is he always comes out and says, I am a liberty-loving Latino. So I'm stealing that from today because we are liberty-loving Latinos. He's the honorary liberty-loving Latino. Tyler is today. But I wanted to give him kudos. And, you know, I've been watching more Newsmax now than Fox.
I was on there last night. I was on.
I missed you.
Yeah, I was
What were you on?
Rob Schmidt's show last night.
Oh, were you?
Yeah, Rob Schmidt's got one of the newer shows on Newsmax. He's great.
What time does that one come on? Do you know?
Oh gosh, I think it
test.
starts. I think it starts at 7 p.m. our time, but I could be wrong.
Is that the funny guy?
It actually might be 8 p.m. our time because I think I
Okay.
was on there just after 8. So
Nicely done.
Yeah. So,
Okay, well,
Rob
I'm
Schmidt.
sorry I missed you, man.
he's a good-looking guy. All the girls in my office like him a lot. So
I'm going to have to check that out. Absolutely.
I thought I gave him a run for his money last night, but I don't know.
Of course you did.
So
All right. And then also we have some announcements. So let's see. LD27, we're going to have our meeting in February. And that is the second Tuesday. And we're expecting a lot of our candidates because we're going to have also a county meeting. We're electing new officers for Maricopa County. And we're also going to have in January our state meeting for the Arizona GOP. So we're going to have candidates that come. So if you are Republican, you are welcome. And that's going to be at what was formerly the, let's call it the Community Center, right? The Latinos for Trump Center on 24th Street and Baseline. And just keep watching us. We'll give you more details. Congratulations to our newly elected LD 27 officers. And also your LD is 19, right, George? You're an LD 19.
Yeah.
Congratulations to your officers.
Yeah.
Shelby is your new chairwoman, right?
Yeah, and I got him right here. Shelby Bush is our new chairman, and I'm the first vice chair. Steve Robinson is our second vice chair, and Diana Jones is our treasurer secretary, and that's our officers. And it's a great group of officers, and I look for big things happening at LD 19 this year.
Great crew. And then for LD 27, we reelected our chairwoman, Tracy Ireland, and our first vice chair, the wonderful Jeremiah Cota. And second vice chair is Michael Ryback. He's kind of a newer PC, very sharp.
Jeremiah's a great dude too.
Jeremiah's
He's a
awesome.
hard worker, a great
Yes,
conservative. So
very
I like
He
him a lot.
really is. And he's famous now with his video.
Super famous. Yeah.
Absolutely. And our secretary is Cheryl Rosado. I am not the secretary. Ta-da! Thank you, Cheryl, for taking over because I didn't want to do it again, but I will help her. And our treasurer will be David Baki, who is very active in politics as well. So we've got a really great crew. And I think we're going to be trying to work with our different LDs because we're a lot of the same heavy Latino base, so we can help each other.
And we got a lot of current chairmen that were elected this year that are, I mean, they're good people and they're dynamic people. And I was looking at a few LDs that elected some outstanding
Mhm.
boards.
We do have great leadership.
And
You're right.
Yeah.
I look at good things happening. They're strong boards. You know, they want to actually have live people at the convention, not proxies and stuff, you know, because I have a thing about proxies. But
And I want to give a quick commercial because we always say LD, and some people say, "What's an LD?" That's your legislative district.
That's
In
right.
Arizona, we have 30 of them. Each one has one state senator and two state representatives. And you can find out what precinct you're in. Maybe you want to be a precinct committeeman. Go to the LD meetings. Lots of information there, and helps you stay politically active because that's what we're all about.
yeah.
And the reason that our show exists going into our 7th year, can you believe it? Year
Wow.
number 7.
7th year.
Is because we want to show we are brown, but guess what? We're not Democrats. We are Republicans, conservative Republicans. And
Big things are going to happen this coming year because we're going to make it happen.
we'll make it happen. Right on. Okay, we're going to walk on now with some politics without further ado. And lots to get into. But we're so glad that Tyler's here today because he's gonna connect all these dots
Yes.
and clarify everything for him because the biggest thing going on right now in Arizona, I heard on the news, oh my gosh, our AZGOP chairwoman, that's Kelly Ward, Dr. Kelly Ward, she's suing the vice president.
Right.
What's up with that, Tyler? Oh, we have 2 minutes. Give us a tease and we'll come back and talk more about it.
Well, it's not just Chairman Ward, but it's all the electors. So the Republican electors who are on the ballot, that's all 11 of us, led by Dr. Ward, along with Congressman Louis Gohmert, who's really the one that was the one that helped
Love that
spearhead
guy.
this whole thing, basically was put together this lawsuit not to attack the vice president, but rather help the vice president make some clarity here that he has the total capacity to make the selection on the electoral college piece as president of the Senate. So as we hop into this, we can talk a little bit about what that means, what the responsibility of the vice president really is, kind of some of the debate over what his role is, and talk about a little bit what the lawsuit looks like and what we're trying to do to clear the way for, potentially giving the vice president the clarity that he needs to move forward with making a tough decision.
Well, I'm so glad that you're here because people keep asking me about it. And I thought, you know what? We're going to have Tyler on. So we're going to talk about it and get it all straightened
It's
out.
a lot more common sense than the Democrats would like it to be.
And we're all
So,
getting a good civics. This last
It's
year,
great.
especially, we all have gotten a great civics lessons on the Constitution.
yeah.
I mean, this, where is it at? This book means a lot to everybody.
Yep.
And people don't bother reading it. They should read it and understand it. And it's hard to read. It takes several times in reading. You have to understand it and research it because the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence is very important. This country has stood by it. And we got to live by the Constitution. And I'm great. What you're doing is great. And what some of our patriots are doing is great.
Oh, thank you.
So we will be back for more of the Chips and Salsa show here on Central City Radio, Talk Central Phoenix. I'm Alice Lara with
Don Jorge.
and our wonderful guest, Tyler Boyer.
And
Don't
Tyler
go away,
Boyer.
man. We're going to walk on some more.
long time.
You know why?
And we are back with another edition of the Central. Oh, come on, George, crack me up. The Chips and Salsa Show. We have a wonderful guest with us. I'm Alice Lara with,
Don Jorge.
and we have a great guest with us today to help clarify some politics. Tyler Boyer. He is the Arizona National Committee man. We have a National Committee woman also, and that's our friend Lori Klein Corbin.
Yep.
Did I get that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you did.
And she's been on before also too, so we'll have to have her back
Right.
as well. So what we're talking about is we're trying to clarify this lawsuit, because on the surface, if you hear the headline, you're thinking, what the heck's going on?
Yeah.
Why are the Republicans
Why would
going after
Republicans
Vice President
sue the
Pence?
vice president? Yeah. So basically what's going on is that there is an electoral act that stipulates that the vice president's hands are bound. So whatever's sent to him by specific people within state governments is what he has to open. That's not what's written in the Constitution. That's not what's written in the, the relief pieces that are written in the 12th Amendment. That's not what's written. I mean, look, the Constitution is very simple. Very simply, it says that the vice president, who is the president of the Senate, right? Because that's his role.
People
So if you-
forget that.
So if you
forget
remember,
that.
the vice president had to do this a couple of times, where he had to come in and actually preside over the Senate and then have the tie-breaking vote.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
the unique role of the vice president, maybe the most important role of the president, vice president, which is that's what he does. So he's not just there just to kind of ho-hum around and, manage the COVID issue and, hang out.
Yeah.
His job is the president of the Senate. And honestly, if I was vice president, I'd spend every day down at the Senate and
There you
be
go.
whipping these guys
That's
into
right.
shape. But I think Vice President Pence does a pretty good job. Long story short is, this lawsuit that was filed by Congressman Louis Gohmert, who's a patriot and a great conservative Freedom Caucus member in Congress, worked together with us to join the lawsuit to basically clear up that the vice president, per the Constitution, has the right as the leader of the body to accept electoral votes, count electoral votes, or not count the electoral votes. And this has happened numerous times in American history, where there's been a number of times where there's been questions about electoral votes. Right now, the situation is that we have a number of states that have serious election fraud concerns. And so since there's so many issues, there's so many states that are so close. I mean, Arizona's so close.
Right.
Arizona's so close. It's 0.5%, right? Of a
I thought
vote.
it was 0.3. Is it 0.5?
It's less. Yeah, it's less
Wow.
than 0.5%. It's 0.3, right? So I'm rounding up.
Yeah.
But in Arizona, it's so close that, things that we're looking into right now that could take months and months and months to determine, like dead voters and illegal voters, and if there's issues with the Dominion machines. Because if you remember right now, there's a lawsuit out that the Maricopa County Board of Supervisors is supposed to turn over
Yep.
the machines to the state legislature, and they haven't done that. And so people are getting pretty ticked off by that they're dragging their feet. None of this has been figured out yet. And so there is a real issue here that's presented in front of the vice president to say, hey, look, Arizona could potentially have some major issues. If I were you, I'd be careful about which electors I select. And so what the situation is right now is that the Republicans sent their electors down per the law. The state sent theirs down by the Democrats because, the Secretary of State said that Joe Biden won this state. And so 2 envelopes essentially are coming before the vice president for the state of Arizona. And what we're saying with the lawsuit is that we're suing the vice president to allow the vice president, right? We're suing him in his official capacity to say, hey, don't you dare ignore our envelope. You have the right to see that. And so we'll see if that injunctive relief, the emergency injunctive relief that we're seeking by the court, gives him that authority. They may not. They may very well come back and say, nope, we're not handling this. We're not dealing with it. We're not sending this up. We're not doing anything with this. But we felt it was important to at least try to clear the path even a little bit more for the vice president. Give him
So
a
it's
little more
really
wiggle.
an assist.
It's an assist. And I mean, look, this is the reality, guys, is that the vice president has something really important in front of him on January 6th, which is it's up to him to decide, per the Constitution, which envelopes he wants to open or none at all. Now, there's two things that can happen. One is he could open up the Republican ones, and that would probably send the Democrats in this country into a frenzy, right? They're going to lose their minds. The second option, which is really an option, is that to set those aside altogether for multiple states. I think it's 7 states in total that has sent 2 sets of electors. He could set 1, 2, 7 of them aside and say, we're not going to look at these because there's so much wrong that appears on the surface.
He actually could have the power just to discount.
That's what we're trying to say. Is he does, right? The Constitution says that, and that has never really been done before, right? That into that level. And I get the argument is well, couldn't Al Gore have done that, with Florida? And I guess the argument is, yeah, I guess he kind of technically by the Constitution could have. And the beautiful part about the Constitution and the Bill of Rights is in the 12th Amendment. The 12th Amendment says it gives us specific recourse for what do you do in a situation like this, right? Where a vice president and the Senate or Congress may say, like, this is these are unacceptable electoral votes. We know a number of congressmen are going to object to the electoral college votes. We know some senators are going to object to the electoral college votes. The vice president himself may not even read them. So what do you do? Well, the 12th Amendment says very clearly what you do. The vote goes to Congress, and it goes state by state, right? So each state gets a vote, and the vote is by the delegation in those states. And so, it just so happens there's more Republican delegations than there are Democrat. That may be the reason why. I don't know the exact history on it. That may be the reason why the Gore people never approached that, because there were too many Republicans. So it was fruitless anyways. Right. Mm-hmm. But guess what? We're in the situation now where if the vice president mans up, which he sounded pretty manly. I just got back from our student action summit. How
was the testosterone level? Yeah.
And he sounded like he was ready to go. If he does that, then it could go per the 12th Amendment to Congress. No. And Congress could elect the president of the United States as Donald Trump.
When you say Congress, do you mean the House of Representatives and then the Senate?
Yeah. So the House of Representatives picks the president. The Senate picks the vice president.
Okay.
So right now, technically, so even though we don't hold Congress, we hold more states in Congress, which is what the Constitution said, or what the 12th Amendment says.
We have more Republican states.
We have more Republican
and each state would have one vote.
Yeah. So per, and you never know. I mean, they could elect anybody. They could elect Ronald McDonald. True. But like, if we think what's going to happen, which is the Republicans, and we think that this is the case because 92 or 93% of Republicans support the president, right? 77% of Republicans believe that election fraud happened, is that these Republican states would elect the president, and then it would be up to the Senate to elect the vice president. And right now we hold the Senate, right? Now, this is where Georgia comes in, right? This is very interesting. This is where Georgia comes in. If we lose Georgia on the 5th, right? Potentially once we get to that vote, those senators could technically be sworn in as I'm told. Mm-hmm. And that could impact the vote for vice president. So you could arguably in this country, I'm not saying this would happen, but you could arguably end up with a Republican president and a Democrat vice president for the first time in a long time, since I think, Thomas, the 2-party, governing model happened, but that would be bad. It doesn't look like it's trending that way, but it's basically the possibility of what can happen.
So even though the House has the numbers are skewed because the states are what votes, 1 vote per state.
So Arizona. So this is what's so funny and what's so interesting is that, our lawsuit, I will never technically. So if the only way that I would become a recognized elector is if the vice president just discarded the Democrats and they picked ours, because I was elector and Kelly and everybody else. But the truth is that the likelihood is that he's more than likely not going to acknowledge those before he acknowledged us. And if that vote went to Congress, then we have a Democrat delegation right now for Congress, right? So no matter what, Arizona is going to vote for Joe Biden, whether they get their way or if it goes to Congress at this point, right? The only way that we would be around that is if somehow the election fraud got exposed and they turned it back to, but that's not going to happen. The Secretary of State is a radical. They're never going to go back on this stuff, right? They're just not going to do it. So the truth is that Arizona is never going to vote for either by Congress or by technically right now, as it stands, the popular vote for the president. But that doesn't matter, because if all the states do, they'll likely vote for Donald Trump for president. So if you can imagine, I mean, yeah, the left is going to be in a frenzy. They're going to be very upset if that happens. But the truth is that, 6 months from now, if we found out and discovered that all this election fraud, let's just focus just on the Dominion issue. What if we find out at some point, right, which it looks like is happening, there's reports of it happening, that the Dominion issue is real, that there was vote switching and there were major issues. Well, we would have an absolute civil war in our hands 6 months from now if that was the case and Joe Biden was president, right? Then we'd have to impeach the guy over that. Then we'd have to impeach Kamala Harris too. And then guess who becomes president right now? Nancy Pelosi would then become president.
Speaker.
So it matters. This stuff matters now, right? And it's never happened before. And I understand that there's some uncomfortability, but I'm as an elector and filing these lawsuits and being part of these, I'm happy to sit down with anybody that has questions about it and kind of explain all this to them and say, look, guys, this is a very real, serious thing, and we have to take it very seriously right now.
I like that, though, because we forget that we have tools. The founders were just brilliant. I mean, to put those little things in place. Well, this happens or that happens, and then to actually do your job. You swear to uphold the Constitution, and all of us. If this thing, we are just. I can't even believe that I'm living right now. Sometimes I wake up, I think this is a political twilight zone. Oh my goodness.
It feels a little House of Cardsy, right? It feels like you watch House of Cards, you feel like you're on House of Cards right now.
I'm embarrassed to say I have not watched that. And people say, you gotta watch that house. You gotta watch it.
What's his face isn't great.
Manipulate elections.
Kevin Spacey's a weirdo. But we kind of are in one of those moments right now where this is pretty cool. This is pretty interesting. And again, we don't live in a democracy, right? This is not we don't. We live in a constitutional republic. The Constitution, tells us how we elect our president. We elect our president with electors that differs by state. Realistically, every state could decide how to elect their electors in a different way.
And it was done for a purpose so that one state doesn't control the whole country.
That's right.
And that's why the electors.
Yeah. Otherwise, we would be, the next step to, state by state, just up, down, majority vote. Is majority vote as a whole as a country, and that's how you end up in a one-party system. Like those that have come from South America and Eastern Europe, know that's how the Putins of the world control people,
and they're used to that. Some people in Mexico are used to that, and they've told me is that we got a democracy, but
there's only one party.
The elite runs the country, and they're fair to us, but I mean, they're talking about fairness in different ways, where the certain selected people are given priority over poorer people, and it shouldn't be that way. And that's why our founders,
it's so brilliant. I mean, that's what I'm saying is, and that's why I have to explain to people, the 12th Amendment, the Constitution provides always recourse for everything. Backup. There's backups to backups to backups. These guys were so brilliant. This is a system that's now worked for us for hundreds of years. We're the longest standing, freedom zone in America, and you want to change that just because you don't like the guy that's president right now. I would be careful about that. I'd be careful
what you wish for.
So. We are so lucky, and we are still the greatest country in the world. We want to maintain that. And we want to maintain our status as the greatest show on Central City Radio as well. So we're going to take away for a couple minutes and pay some bills, and we'll be right back with more of the Chips and Salsa Show. I'm Alice Lara with
Don Jorge
and our guest Tyler Boyer. So don't go away because we got lots more to talk about. Guac on. And we are back. You know, it's a good show when it's just going fast, boom, moving and grooving. And we really want to thank you for tuning in today to the Chips and Salsa Show. We're here every Tuesday at 4 p.m. We are starting our 7th year. Unbelievable.
All right.
And thank you very much for your support. I'm Alice Lara with
I'm Don Jorge.
Don Jorge,
Don Jorge.
the Alacran, which
The
means the
Alacran.
scorpion. And we'll tell you that story another day as well.
Yeah.
We have a wonderful guest today, and we've just been knocking it, man, on the politics. And that's Tyler Boyer, a good friend. He is the Arizona National Committeeman. You know what? Tell the people out there, what the heck is a national committeeman?
Yeah.
What does he do?
Well, most people don't realize that every state and territory in the United States has 3 people that represent the Republican Party. You have your state party chairman, who gets elected by the body of Republican leadership across the state. And then you have 2 people, a man and a woman, who are the historical votes that represent each state and territory at the Republican National Committee. And so the National Committee man is the official vote on the male side. The National Committee woman is the female vote for each state. And those are every state.
No
altogether.
Transgender yet.
Yeah, none. We believe in 2 genders, I think, at the RNC still. So, all of those people all together collectively make up the body, the board that makes all the decisions for the National Republican Party. And so Ronna Romney McDaniel, who used to be the state party chair of Michigan, is now the RNC chair. There's a co-chair, there's a treasurer, and there's a secretary. And then there's 168 of us. So 3 per state and then territory. So there's 50 states plus wherever the quick math is, I think 6 territories and Washington, D.C.
And you're telling us it's a 4-year term?
Yep. So it's a 4-year term. And so we will have our next meeting, basically our first meeting post-election in January. So it's the first week of January in Florida. That's when we re-elect or elect the national chair, the national co-chair, the secretary and treasurer. I'm right now involved in a fierce battle to get a conservative elected to the treasurer spot. And so we're helping the national committee woman in Kentucky. Her name is Casey Crosby, helping her get elected there. And really, I've just dived in right away, trying to help make sure that the RNC is more conservative, supports our president, which they're doing. The RNC helped fund a lot of lawsuits, and they've stuck around for some time here. But yeah, we have a lot of people who are not super conservative on the RNC in a lot of states. And I can tell you that Arizona has probably one of the most conservative delegations between Kelly Ward and Lori Klein Corbin and myself.
It's a great team.
But
Great team.
most states aren't that way. They're just not.
And we forget about that, because we're so involved in our own
And then
state.
2 people only attend that meeting. Does Dr. Kelly Ward attend the meeting too?
Yeah, so Kelly does too. So
Oh,
all
okay.
3 of us have a vote.
Okay.
So we will be there in January. We will be voting in all the new leadership, and then starting to make decisions on behalf of the next 2 and 4 years, starting preparations for, believe it or not, for the next national convention, where we will nominate a new presidential candidate at that point, whether it's ending the president's 2nd term or whatever comes out of this thing. Hopefully it'll be ending the president's 2nd
That's
term.
what we are hoping.
But there's a lot of things that they do. So they handle the debate structure for the presidential candidates. They manage all the finances that go in and out of the RNC and help fund a lot of the states, run a lot of national ads, and then help with some ancillary organizations with candidate recruitment. So it's a big job, and it's
not paid.
It's not paid. It's not paid. You have to pay your own way. They usually try to make you stay in swanky places, which is stupid too. But if it were up to me and I was running the RNC, I would board up the office in DC, and we would open up an office in Florida and Ohio and Pennsylvania and Michigan, and do things I think more of the right way, and stay in Holiday Inns and things like that, and save the party money and save ourselves money, so that we could all do more on behalf of the party.
Well, maybe someday, who knows?
We'll see. That's maybe not for me. My wife might kill me before we get there. So.
By the way, we need to congratulate you officially
Thank
on
you.
your newest addition to your family.
Thank you. I did the
He
least
had a
amount of work.
baby.
I did the least amount of work. It's all my wife. So.
Yay, Mrs. Boyer.
But we like her a lot. We named her Quincy.
Quincy.
Yeah, and it's not officially after John Quincy Adams, who was the first real Republican before the Republican Party existed, and the first guy that stepped up that was really an anti-slavery president. That was kind of interesting, but yep, her name's Quincy. So
Beautiful. Saw her on Facebook.
Thank you.
Good work.
Thank you.
Even though you had, like you said, a minor part.
She's got all her mom's looks, and her mom did all the work. So I'm very uninvolved
She's got
here.
a beautiful wife, and she's so friendly, and she's always out there, or not always out there, but I've seen her at meetings, and she's very, very friendly.
We were talking also, Turning Point USA. I just love that organization because the young people, though, that's our future. George and I have been doing this for quite a while, and we're getting older. And you got to have the young blood. You have to keep renewing fresh blood. And these guys, when I went to the Trump rally in Goodyear, and I'm sorry, I know I've told the story before, but it was so refreshing to see the amount of youth that were there. People under, sometimes I'm just happy to see somebody under 50 or 60, under 40, under 30. And they weren't just like, hey, man, they knew their politics. I got to talk to a lot of them, all different colors and sizes and Latinos. And it was so awesome to do that. And I know that you guys are a major part and responsible for a lot of that. So
well, we did.
you.
Yeah. At Goodyear, actually, not many people know this. Charlie Kirk ended up speaking up at the Bullhead City rally because they needed him to speak up there. But we had actually ended up recruiting and delivering to that rally about 700 young people, 750 young people.
It showed.
Yeah, which was the first time. We kind of had to help push it through. And thanks to the president and the White House, they made it happen. But yeah, we pushed to have 750 seats, and the Trump campaign were amenable to getting them all in. But that was the first time that it was the last rally, but that was the first time that we'd really engaged on doing that, which is I wish they would have been doing that all along, because we have a lot of great energy through Turning Point Action, through Turning Point USA, and we just actually got back from our Student Action Summit in West Palm Beach, where we made some headlines because they tried to shut us down there.
Yeah, I saw that in the news.
They tried to shut us down, and they kept kids outside, which is obnoxious. But it was it's always such a energy booster because you see all these incredible young people from all 50 states coming together and just getting so excited about our country, about loving our country, and our mission, which is free markets, free people, and limited government. So,
and you're right about the excitement and the enthusiasm, and they know their stuff. You must also do a really good job as far as teaching rights and the Constitution, because they're not dummies. The people that I spoke with, the young people, it was just great because you're older, you kind of get used to when somebody's a little younger, they don't know what things are, and you have to think, no, they were telling me stuff. They knew their stuff. They were keeping up with things. I mean, it really gives me hope for the future.
Well, thank you. And we work really hard. I mean, we have, so a lot of people don't know this about Turning Point USA, but we're a 501c3, so we're purely educational as a nonprofit, which is, you can donate and write it off. But we spend all of our resources on educational materials that go out to, and a lot of it's entry level stuff, right? So what the left does really, really well is they co-opt a lot of pop culture and really basic lines and taglines to get kids interested. And so we do a lot of the same. We just broke over 1,000 college and high school chapters across the country.
That's fantastic.
Which is huge.
And you were so hampered with this COVID thing. Usually you're out there on campus.
That's amongst COVID. Yeah. So, I mean, we're really excited this next year. We're actually looking to have over 1,000 high school chapters alone across the country, which is a big deal. And we have about 380,000 right now active members in Turning Point USA chapters. And so, I mean, this is not something the left expects. They don't expect a challenge on college campuses and high school campuses, and we're giving it, and they're doing a tremendous job. So
that's what's your secret though with the COVID thing happening? You can't just go out there like you were before and be a lot of students aren't even on campus.
So, I mean, this is the whole baseline of what we do at Turning Point USA is we raise the dollars that we raise that go directly into full-time support staff on the ground. So we actually have a full-time field staff. And a lot of people are like, "Oh, is that just in election years?" No, it has nothing to do with the election. We're an educational nonprofit that operates year round, 365 days a year, every year. Since our founding. So we actually operate in all 50 states. We have right now, I believe it's 56 full-time field representatives out in the field that assist all of our chapters, that do a tremendous job, and that's really the difference maker between us and what other organizations do. And there's lots of great organizations, but if you don't have presence on the ground to support those chapters and those people those kids that are in high schools trying to build those chapters, then they just dissipate, or they leave, or they come in, they get excited for a moment, right? Like, how it is. Like, you'll listen to talk radio, you'll get excited about something for a week, and then you'll be like, I got to have a break from this, right? And kids are the same way. Sure. And so we have to support them full time. And that's really the big difference between us and any other, PAC or movement or anything else that people contribute to.
So in most of the states, you have a functioning office.
So we don't have an office in every state, but we have full-time reps that are there.
Okay.
Because they generally have a chapter at like their college or high school. And so we'll have like a rep. So like in Southern California, for example, we have like 4 or 5 reps. Okay. So we have one in Orange County, one in San Diego, one in Los Angeles, one in Riverside, and they will all go to the schools that are surrounding every day to help them, table on campus, recruit and register voters, and then get them involved with their chapters, who hold weekly and monthly chapter meetings.
Well, it's just such an impressive organization, and I've been privileged enough to take a tour that you gave me and Jesse Romero, and I can't wait to go back again and see it, because it's unbelievable, and we've needed something like that for such a long time. So I want to tell you guys out there, if you care about conservatism and restoring the republic, this is a great organization to give a few bucks to. Give a lot of bucks to them too, because they are really doing the work. They really are. I saw it firsthand.
It's the future of the Republican Party, a future of conservatism, and that's the main.
Absolutely. We'll be back in our future in just a few minutes for the last segment of the Chips and Salsa Show. Alice Lado with
Don Jorge
and our guest Tyler Boyer. Don't go away. We'll be right back. And we are back for the last segment, if you can believe it or not, of our Happy New Year show, the Chips and Salsa Show here on Central City Radio Talk Central Phoenix. I'm Alice Lara with
Don Jorge. We've had a great year, by the way, this year. Well, with not counting the pandemic, of course, and a lot of little things have happened. We've had a great year with our show. That's let me clarify that, with our show.
And that's because of you guys. And thank you very much.
The chipsters out there. Yeah, but this year's been a terrible year with politics and everything else, and the COVID thing.
But we are not losing hope. And that's why we invited Tyler today.
And we're looking for a great 2021.
2021. I mean, we're ready, man. We are so ready.
We're going to make it happen.
So we wanted to have some fun this segment. And one of the things that I didn't even know about this chick, okay?
Crazy.
So we're going to have fun with Hilaria because she's hilarious. So unless you've been under a rock or something, Alec Baldwin, who does a fantastic impression of President Trump. I mean, he really does a good job. He's married evidently to this gal, and they've got about 4 or 5 children together or something. And evidently, she's been playing this role kind of like Elizabeth Warren, and saying that she was born in Mallorca, Spain, and she even speaks with an accent.
So Alec Baldwin, who plays characters on TV, right, is married to a lady. Her name is Hillary. I can't remember what her maiden name was, but it's like Jackson or Johnson or something.
Yeah.
She was
white name.
Born and raised in Massachusetts. Both parents are, not Spanish at all.
Nothing.
Not at all. And somewhere along the line, she just decided it was okay to start telling people that she was born and raised in Mallorca and she's Spanish, that she's from Spain, that she's the Spanish.
And she looks okay. She could look the part. She's got her dark hair.
She looks like she's got a tan. She's like definitely tans.
Tan. Yeah. She probably is darker than me, but a lot of Latinos are darker.
She tans more than the president, So like she's in there, but she's not Spanish at all. And she changed her name to Hilaria, which is hilarious because her name's Hillary and she's a liar. And so, what's crazy about this is Alec Baldwin, who plays characters on TV. His brother Stephen Baldwin, who super conservative.
Yeah.
Alec Baldwin is not. Alec Baldwin is super liberal, super leftist, to the point where he's like a little bit kooky. And
he's done some kooky things. Yeah.
Stephen's kooky too. Let's just be fair. He's a kooky conservative, but like Alec Baldwin is super kooky, and the entire media is just giving him a pass for his wife, who's just making stuff up.
It's fine.
Crazy.
It's fine. If it were anybody from our side, crucifixion would have already happened.
Nothing to see here.
But this is a constant thing that happens on the left, which is you have these people who just pretend to be something they're not. And it's so funny because my good friend Candace Owens, I think she posted this yesterday, which is
we love her. Can you bring her with you next time?
Yeah, okay. we'll try to get her. She's 9 months pregnant. She's about to have a baby.
She's still so beautiful.
Yeah, I've been talking to her this week because we had actually a really funny thing happen this week too. But I think it was she that posted this. It might not have been her, but somebody tweeted out, well, it's where's the white privilege now? If white privilege is such a thing, for the left, why are all these leftists pretending to be privileged minorities? And then it really shines a light on it, which is that it doesn't matter where you're from, it matters who you are.
Absolutely.
And being honest about yourself. And
because that other gal too, remember, she was pretending to be black.
Yeah. What was her name? Rachel Dolezal, or what's her name? Yeah.
They just totally get away with it. But it's hysterical. And please look it up if you don't know what we're talking about. Just YouTube it. And they've got her on a video, and she's at a cooking show, and she's saying, "Oh, now, what do you call this in English?"
So this is
even with
really,
an accent.
So this is what really came up. So she has this fake accent, this fake Spanish accent, and they're cooking, and they have tomatoes. We have some tomatoes, and she's like, "How do you call it in English?" And they're cucumbers. And obviously, she knows the word for cucumber. She's born and raised in Massachusetts. She's literally born and raised in Massachusetts. She's just making this up. And everyone's like, oh, those are cucumbers. How sweet. The woman just spent her summers in Spain. Her parents they retired in Spain. That's it.
I mean, okay, as Latinos, should we be offended, Tyler? Should George and I just Can we sue her
Yeah.
for being
I
fake?
I think Latinos
Yeah,
should
I
be
think we
offended.
should.
They should be offended because
It's offensive.
I mean, that's, why pretend to be something you're not? And why pretend to be a Latino when you're not a Latino? If you're Asian, you pretend to be an Asian. If you're not an Asian, you pretend to be an Asian. Why do that if not to placate the Asians or to placate the Latinos? It's not right. It's
Well, it's racist.
I mean-
It's racist,
I'm
yeah.
telling you right now, it's
It is
racist.
racist.
It
It is.
It's racist, and here's the reason why. So, Democrats and leftists are always quick to hop on anybody that even coughs in front of somebody of a different race. But at the same time, they have literally white people. This is on par with blackface, right?
Yeah.
Like tanning yourself and
Yes.
pretending to have an accent. The whole concept here is that you're pretending to be something that you're not. And I don't have a problem. I think it's just funny. I think these people are idiots, but the left should be the one. So we've seen now Ralph Northam, have racist pictures that are out there.
Yeah.
You have the Prime Minister of Canada have
Trudeau.
blackface.
Mhm.
Trudeau have basically be wearing blackface. You now have people like Rachel Dolezal excuse me if I mispronounce her name, but literally tans and darkens her skin to be black. And then you have this lady who's married to one of the most famous people in America that people know off the street, who's pretending to be Latino, who's just, a white chick, and this is okay with the left. It is this is why you can't believe anything that they say, is because at first glance, these are the first people they should be taking down.
It does not add to their credibility at all.
It is like
And
the
I would
first
like
one.
to award her the Cocotazo
Award.
Cocotasa of the year.
Well, Hillary.
Hold
on
did it.
1 minute.
Well, Hillary did it when she faked her voice, and
Hillary did the same thing
Yeah.
too.
I ain't no ways tired.
Yeah.
I'll never
And that was so
forget that.
obvious what
Oh
she was
my
doing.
God.
Well,
And
Joe
people-
Biden did the same thing.
And Joe
Joe
That's
Biden
right.
did the same thing, and nobody said anything.
Nobody said
It's
anything.
fine.
The
It's
left is so
They
crazy.
get away
hypocritical.
with everything.
But if the president had said anything like that, or
Oh, no,
anything like
they'd be
that,
all-
it'd be like,
Yeah.
the guy eats a taco salad. They're like, I can't believe you're enjoying a taco salad. It's like the guy just
That-
is enjoying a taco
that
salad.
orange man.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's like, geez Louise, like
Guys-
you can't eat a taco salad, but
We got like
Good
you can
imitation.
dress up as
30
a Latino and pretend to be that, and
I know.
well, won't say anything.
we got like
Okay.
30 seconds. Thank you so much. Please
Yeah.
come back,
I'm
okay? As
always
often as
happy.
you can.
I'm sorry I ditched you
Anytime.
in previous weeks.
Yeah, so you
I'm,
owe us still. No.
I owe you still. I'm still in the hole. So
Support Turning Point USA, Tyler
you.
Boyer,
thank you.
Arizona National Committeeman, Alice Lara.
Don Jorge, don't drink and drive.
Happy New Year. Be
Happy
safe.
New Year.
We love you. Thank you, Chipsters, and we'll see you next year.
Happy New Year.
Guac on. Thank you, Julie.